Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Jade. This is 6 weeks solid. This is Thursday on week 5. We are flying along. Week 6 for Jade because she's doing 7 weeks solid.
Yeah.
Maybe not. So I am deliberately hiding in the shadows here because, in all honesty, the view behind me is so much more interesting than me.
Moi.
Moi.
Mine's just not turning it on. I've got too much thick cloud right across the horizon right at the minute. So I'm sure hopefully by the end of the stream, it'll come through and shed some
Pop its head out.
Yeah.
It's really, it's one of those really amazing mornings here where, the clouds are just all these amazing colors. And, like I said the other day, a great sunrise comes with a little bit of cloud. So this is a fantastic example of it.
It is one of those. It's so pretty. Yeah, I look really quite tranquil here today. It's lovely.
And we're on for a cracking day, another cracking day. It's, kids are in home learning and the weather's going to be perfect.
Amazing. Wow. I thought, I was just saying to you a minute ago, Kyle, I had a topic that I thought we should have a discussion on, and I'm sure Steve's watching, and it actually comes from him. He's been really loving Atomic Habits. So he's just finished Atomic Habits. So I've suggested he moves on to Own the Day because he loved it so much. But the key thing, and it was a really great reminder to me actually, was about friction points, and I kind of forgot about that in Atomic Habits in terms of how do we break bad habits and how do we build better habits and more positive habits. And James Clear talks about friction points. So if you make it harder for yourself to do the bad thing, then you're adding friction to it. And likewise, when you want to do good habits, if there's too much friction between you and doing it, then you're less likely to do it. So it was funny because I was coaching one of the Super Butcher guys yesterday, and we're talking about how many times he wanted to go to the gym and things come up, and I'm like, okay, cool. So he's like, oh, if I come home, I'm not the inertia's gone, so it's harder for me to get the motivation to go to the gym. Because even though it's closer, I don't know what happens. I just get home and I want to go. I was like, okay,
I'm out.
Did you want to go to the gym today? And he goes, yeah. I said, well, did you take your gym bag with you to work? No. Okay. Well, you were always coming home then. What? Yeah. I said, what else is a friction point? He goes, oh, well, I've really set a commitment to my partner that I want to be home by a certain time, so that we're eating dinner at a certain time. So, yeah, so then if I have to go and buy the dinner on the way home, because we don't like to keep a lot of stuff in the fridge because it goes off. If I didn't leave work on time, then I don't have time to go to the gym. It's like, okay, cool. So what if we planned and prepared, could you buy 2 days worth of food? Like how many days at the gym you want to do? It's like, I want to do 3 days at the gym. I said, so could we do that? I said, oh, he said, yeah, I can buy Monday and Tuesday nights because I want to go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at the gym. And I went, okay, cool. So that's going to fuck Wednesday up. And he's like, oh, no, my missus, she can get dinner on Wednesday nights and she can get Wednesdays and Thursdays. I was like, okay, cool. Now we've got a plan. I said, and what about making sure that our gym bag goes? Because, even if you don't use it, something does come up, at least it's in the car. And you're more likely, you're the dude that goes to the gym, you've got your gym bag. It's like, yeah, I can do this. Right? And it's quite tweaks, right? So looking at what does give you the permission to, we talked about permissions to procrastinate. Lexia of the mouth again. More coffee. I swear when I've got migraines, my brain wires don't work. And permission to procrastinate, when we procrastinate, we tell ourselves a story. We give ourselves some sort of permission to not do something. And so it was the buying of dinner, or as I didn't have my gym bag and got home, and then maybe the missus asked him a question, or he saw his email and got off track, and then it's too late to go. So we fixed that. So Steve had a really great idea for when we roll into our new systems of living and like not drinking. He's like, what if, on the odd Thursday or a day that we don't normally drink, the only time we're allowed to have a beer is if we ride our push bikes there. In the house, right? So you're stacking, right? You've got to do your exercise.
Yep.
And you go, because then you've got to really think about it. Is it, and it's more of an experience, it's not a habit. So you can have, especially Aussies, I'm just going to generalize there. You had a learn to do that, haven't you? Now, this place is also a bit of a trap because I don't know about you, but usually when you're on holiday and you live in you're on holiday and you go to a place like this, for sunset you have wine.
That's right.
That's kind of difficult when you live here. There cannot be holiday wines. So do you know what I mean? If you start thinking through things like that, like what could be your friction point? What could be the thing that makes you make a decision? So another thing that I was talking to that young guy about yesterday was, tell me about your morning. He goes, well, I was running out of time to eat my breakfast and I was getting a bit shitty before I got to work because I'd wake up, I'd check my emails, I went, wait, what? We've just set a management rule. So we had a big leadership meeting about communication. We're like, okay, cool. Let's talk about our favorite forms of communication and what it means to each other. And they were like, actually, and the new owner said, if I send an email, I want a response in a couple of days. If I send a text message, I expect it by the end of business. If I call you, fucking answer. Right? So that became a new model for everyone. If it's an email, it's not urgent.
Yep.
It's I kind of need the information, maybe by the next meeting or something, but it's not urgent. Text message, okay, a little bit of urgency. Call, holy shit. Right? I said, why are you checking? He goes, I check my emails and then I get pissed off about something that's happened and then I go down a rabbit hole and like, okay, airplane mode. And if you set a rule of when you're going to finish airplane mode, and then we rolled into it, and he had it in his ideal week planner. Sorry, I'm 3. You know who you are. But he had it in his ideal week planner to eat breakfast, right, and scroll on social media. And I went, how do you feel after you scroll on social media? And he's like, not great. I feel like I wasted an hour of my life and never getting back. I'm like, well, you just plan to waste an hour of your life every morning. Why? He goes, well, I figured if I did it then that I wouldn't feel like I needed to do it during the day. I said, that's good. Like figuring out how you can get your fix and everything. I said, but time expands and contracts to suit depending on what you've given it. So you've just given yourself an hour of life to waste. Is there anything? And he's like, I could read a book actually, or I could watch something more interesting, talk to my partner. I'm like, all good things. I said, so
all good things.
Airplane mode, when you have the habit of just going to check your social media, it's going to prompt you because it's going to say, do you want to turn your Wi-Fi back on?
Yep.
And then you make a choice. And then if you make the conscious choice, fine. But at least you've put yourself that little checker in. So what I actually did this morning, I found when I came out of airplane mode just to get ourselves ready for this, I was making my coffee and I instantly went to click on one of the social medias and I went, oh, back the thumb off. I'm like, why am I doing that?
Back the thumb up.
Back that thumb up. And I was like, oh, I'll do it. So what I've done, I was like, I'd love to remove the apps from my phone altogether. Love to. But that's just not realistic for the type of work that I do with the communication channels. So what I did was I made a new folder with all of the habitual scrolling things and threw them all in a folder. So now I don't just see, because you know what I mean? Like you open up your phone, it's on your home screen. And then next minute you've clicked it and you're like, how the fuck did I get here?
And we were talking about this the other last week, weren't we? The social dilemma, and that's what it's actually designed to do, is to steal your attention. Mm-hmm. And Facebook's in the news again with all of that stuff.
Yeah, I don't have any notifications on there, and I've got no badges on how many message counts or notification counts or anything, so I don't get that. Mind you, Telegram drives me crazy. It counts all of the new connections, so I've always got like 900 messages. I need to turn that one off. But like, if you think about it, like, that's a tiny thing, but it's a pattern interrupt. And you've got to think that and be more conscious. Like, when it breaks that habit, it's just that little bit extra. Steve's put into the chat, the other thing for like the drink, like going for a beer, is that it costs more money. So you're actually going to go to an establishment and like you kind of get like, what, beer's $10 now? What? Like, do you know what I mean?
Fuck that! I'll go for another bike ride instead.
Yeah, I'll just keep on riding. I'll just keep riding. But these are the things, like, if you start putting in place for yourself, like, because I don't know about you guys, I sound like an alcoholic. Not an alcoholic, but we drink expensive beer and expensive wine, so we've saved a lot of money in the last. Well, even if you added it up, like, you know, people stop buying coffees every day because a coffee might cost them $5, right? So most people, like, if they're a coffee buyer, spend about $50 a week buying coffee.
Yeah.
So that's something that they remove. Now, if I dared people that buy beers out or buy wine out, or switch to doing that instead, the cost per day, if you've got all of those things, really add up.
Yeah, definitely. And if that's a pain point or a barrier, then that's another reason to not do it.
Yeah, well, it's like the swear jar. Like, if you just put like I said, if we just deposited the money that we normally would spend on that stuff into a jar. Like,
I thought you were going to say a swear jar then. I was going to say just put $1,000 in and forget about it.
I'd be so fucked. Actually, I think I'm going to throw Steve under the bus. I'm pretty sure on Father's Day last year, I don't know what prompted him to start a swear jar. Maybe the kids started it, but I think they made something like, babe, tell me into the chat, was it like $80? Yeah. But again, so the idea of a swear jar is a friction point. Let's switch over to like good habits. We talked about with my young guy, like take the gym bag, plan the food. Yep. Where can you reduce the friction point between you and the thing you want to do? You gave me a great one 2 days ago. Just put my suit on and ride over. It's like, maybe I'll ride over and check it. You're like, if you're already in your suit, you're gonna go. So yeah. So this morning it was like, oh no, I left my wetsuit outside. It's gonna be really cold. Move wetsuit inside.
Yes, definitely. Because cold, wet wetsuit's not fun.
Oh no, at least it's dry. It's dry on the inside when I turn it out. But really thinking about, like, what's the things that you can do? I need a bigger jar was the comment he made. They made $80 for a long weekend.
Oh, that's all right. They mustn't have been paying attention very much.
No. So what's any ideas, Kyle? Any habits that you're working on at the moment for yourself that you think that, because we're just talking about rolling into 12 weeks tough, and the next 6 weeks being living our systems for living, ingraining the habits that we're choosing. Is there anything that you need to put a friction point in or take a friction point out?
I think food's always a big one, and we're in a pretty good habit, or we're back into a good habit. So the kids and I always plan out. We actually plan out their 2 weeks worth of meals and everything, so that we know what's going to happen. We know what we've got to buy. It's really easy. They help me do the shopping list on an app, so that, you know, anything they need to remember, they just put it on the app, and then if I do the shopping, we go and do it, or they come and help. But by planning out over that 2 week period, we know what we've got to buy. We know what we're going to cook each day. We know what's got to come out of the freezer at what time. You know, so it's less difficult. It's not getting to 5:30 in the afternoon going, what are we going to have? I don't know. I can't be bothered. Just Uber Eats.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, you know what I'm like. I'm really good at sticking to I'm very good at sticking to a outfit. I'm not very good at remembering to eat.
Which isn't very wild fit.
No, that is, Eric would absolutely kick my ass. But for me, it's making sure I have planned and I've gone, okay, cool. Just accept the fact that I'm probably going to be busy being busy. Make sure that I've got the things. Like I had 40 minutes spare yesterday, and I was like, no food in the house. Run to the shops across the road. Do you know what's amazing about living here? I currently have a Coles shopping cart in my hallway. You can go to the shops, push the trolley back, straight up into the list, straight into your house, straight to your kitchen. And we have
no need for bags.
It's like, it's so good. But that removed a friction point because I was thinking, like, if I have to get in the car, go down to the lights, you've got to kind of do Steve did tell me you can come around the block the other way, but then I have to carry the 10 liters of water up and like my back's hurting. No, just drive that thing in.
Just bring it in.
Bring it in. But making sure that I've got my lunches prepared, because if we go out, it's really hard to buy. You can't buy wild fit when you're at a food court.
No, generally not.
No. Sometimes fucking Bull has meat, but like it's really quite difficult. So making sure. So I now I've got the Luke and Tom's Bliss balls that I keep in my basket of snacks if I get stuck. So really thinking through, like, okay, what's the things that have tripped me up in the past? I've got starving. Even Eric will say you're better off eating something rather than nothing. So then there's nothing around, so then I eat something that isn't desirable. Then I've broken the seal for the day, so then I might as well have something else. Like, just think through your own patterns of like those permission points, and where is the friction, and your sunrise looks spectacular. I'm ripped off.
It's I actually would say the camera is not doing it justice.
Really? Mine's trying. I feel like I've done all the talking, Kyle. I must be alive today. What's happening?
Must be. Well, we have talked a lot, and Jade has shared quite a lot about habits today. So for today, everybody, have a think about what are the habits that you need to make easier and remove the friction points. So how can you remove them? Like having your gym gear ready to go when you want it to go or before you want to go, so that that's not the barrier. So if it's got to be in the car, if your gym gear has to be out in the morning, whatever it is, have it ready so that you're ready to go, and it's not I've got to wash my pants, I can't be bothered. Mm-hmm. But also on the other side, the things that you want to break, make them harder to do. So, hide the alcohol away. Put it in a locked cupboard.
If you're not an alcoholic.
If it's things like, if there's particular food that's in your cupboard that you don't want to be eating, throw it in the bin. Get rid of it.
Or do a homeless person.
Or give it to someone else that could use it better. That's a much better use of it. So,
but get it out of your house.
Just make it harder.
Out of your house.
Yeah, get it out of your house, because if you have to actually go out to get it, you'll find that you can't be bothered and you won't.
Yeah.
So it's just about, the things that you want to break, make them harder, put something in the way. The things that you want to keep, make it easier. Get everything out of the way of it so that it's really, really easy to do.
Love it. I would love to see in the comments below your tips, what you guys are actually going to do. Because then once you've written it down, you're more likely to do it.
Absolutely. Let us know, everybody, and have an amazing day. Yeah. One last shot of the sunrise is just popping over the horizon. So what a spectacular moment.
Fingers, but the camera's not picking it up.
And down to the south is like all purple and blue, and it's just so amazing here today. It's going to be an amazing day, everyone. Have an epic day.
Have an epic day, guys.